Just still the votes, you know. I just got that thing, bro. Shut up, straight, man.
Con. All right, shalom. Keepers of sheep, back on the highways and byways, prophesying the downfall of America, aka Babylon the Great. We are the Hebrew Israelites, prophesying to the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and before we begin, we'd like to first start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, Shalom, and Shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
All right, today's camp title will be, This is not the end all, be all. Right? And of course, we chose this title through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And mainly just focus on this count that because of course, you know, this is the end of the world, right? And when people hear that term, the end of the world, people think, you know, it's the end of everything. It's the end of life itself. Like it's the end of the world. Like the world itself, the globe, the earth is just gonna blow up. And not those terms, all right? This is the end of an age, all right, of an eon, of in the world, right? So when we say this word world, that's why in John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he's talking about the world of Israel, all right, the nation of Israel, all right. Israel itself, we make up a world, right? We make up his own. We our own generation, we're our own nation, right? And that being said, you know, we look for what? A new kingdom, a new earth, all right? New life, all right? New children. And it's something to think about because in this kingdom, nothing is really yours. All right? You don't own your children, you don't own your women, you don't own any lands, right? So we look for new, right? Somebody get that revelation.
I'm gonna bring this out for week. This book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4, just backing up the brother. And it reads, say, one generation passeth away, and the other generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever, man. So it just shows right there that the earth is gonna abide forever, right? Like you say, one generation passing away, and another generation coming. So this is gonna be the passing away of Esau kingdom, of Esau rulership, of this age, you know, this life age, you understand? It's going to pass away. But we know after this, like I said in second Ezra, right there.
But even just bouncing off that point, because sometimes it's misunderstood that the Lord going to destroy the whole earth. He's not. You know what I'm saying? He's only coming to destroy Babylon, this place that Esau dwells. He's coming to destroy this kingdom, this place right here.
And also Israel.
Yeah, they got to destroy it. That's going to happen, you know, through World War III and things of that nature. So that the scriptures say, do the works that we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? We build that kingdom back up. We build our holy land back up.
So there'll be no more Babylon, aka America, but after Israel is destroyed, we're gonna rebuild up the kingdom. You know,
Esau
the slaves.
gonna rebuild.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's why I just gonna say the slaves. They're gonna rebuild the kingdom up, and then you know that's gonna be our holy.
Right, they're gonna do their job for 1,000 years, and they're gonna
Because it's not to go on about it, but it's only fair. We built America, right?
So they must build ours.
I have a quick precept. Just to the point right there. Revelation 18. I started verse 9. It said, "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her." And with that, her is talking about America, Babylon, right? It says, "Shall bewail her and lament for her, or lamented for her, and they shall see smoke of her burning. Stand afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment." You know, that judgment when it comes to America for the iniquity and things that have been going on, right? And like back the brothers up, the place right here is gonna be destroyed, right? And like the brother saying, you know, people think like, oh, the end of the world. Nah, the end of the world is the end of Esau's kingdom. It's the end of their rulership. It's a rulership to come for the Israelites, kingdom and righteousness, right?
Go straight into this. So this is 2 Ezra 6 and 7. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? And when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it follow? He said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it following. So it tells you right there, like we've been saying. Right? This is Esau's kingdom right now. You know what I'm saying? For the time they eat, Most High gave them a blessing. The fatness of the earth, so on and so forth. Right? The blessing of the sword. All these types of things. Right? He gave them this. He gave them this for one reason only, to chasten the children of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? And to bring us into leadership once this is over. It's just a big punishment. You know what I'm saying? It's really all it boils down to. At the end of the day, we're gonna receive that reward, which was first given unto us, which is the kingdom, which is rulership, which is being the head, not the tail, which is above, not beneath.
Precept back in brothers. This book of Revelations 21, and I started verse 1. It says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, but the first heaven and the first earth was passed away. There was no more sea." That first heaven and the first earth, with the rulership that ruled, the last one being Esau, right? And the new kingdom that's coming, right, is for Israelites, right? Daniel 2:44, right? I read verse 2. It says, and I John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So that New Jerusalem, right? How you say that? Jerusalem. I'm saying it right. Yeah, Jerusalem, right? New Jerusalem, right? Where when we get into this kingdom, how everybody falling out the ways of Esau, things of that nature. But they're gonna have to fall out the ways that Yahweh Shah said for us. We gonna be in rulership. They're gonna have to follow our laws and commandments. And Elder Pastor Gabar, we were talking about this, how Jerusalem gonna be that headquarters type. Jerusalem gonna be the headquarters of the kingdom, right?
It's gonna be like how Washington D.C. is, or like just the capital or whatever.
Just going into how you saying it, it's for Israel, right? So this is John 4, and I'll expound on why this relates after I finish. This is John 4:21. This is that account with the woman at the I think it's the woman at the well, if I'm not mistaken. But it says, Yahushua said unto her, "Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor at Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." And so the reason that's relevant is because what is salvation? Salvation is being in leadership, having the kingdom, being the judges, rulers, and kings of the new kingdom, of the new world to come. That's what salvation is, right? Because it's a misconception that some people say only Israel is going to be in heaven. No, all the nations are going to be in heaven, but who's going to be in the kingdom of heaven? That's what salvation is, and that is of the Jews, the Israelites. That's how that's relevant.
And real quick, just to touch on something, while we're on the topic, that like the brother brought out the first time, the new heavens and new earth. So of course, us being New Jerusalem, what's gonna make us new? New bodies. All right, we had these spiritual bodies, and but not only just us, but the earth, the animals. Everybody gonna take a spiritual form, man, except for the heathen nations, and of course Esau, Edom. But even the earth is gonna be spiritual again. Like the earth was once magical, man. You remember going back to the Garden of with Adam and Eve.
Which was if people don't know that's if I'm not mistaken, somebody somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not mistaken, Jerusalem, like the holy city of Jerusalem is where the Garden of Eden was.
It's like
that's the holy land. Like that's why that area of the Middle East is something the Fertile Crescent. That's where the land is the best.
And see, it's not really the Middle East. So the elder from GMA Chicago, Brother Strauss, but he always going to that. It's no Middle East. It's not like, I guess you could say Jerusalem with Israel, Africa, it's all one. It's all together. You feel me?
I was just saying that, how everybody be moving and migrating. So people be moving. People be on the move so long. You got that European knowledge that goes out and trying to create these ways. Because you got Israel now. That was they put those people over there in 1948 after Holocaust and World War II and all that things to make peace. That was supposed to be like peacemaking.
They came in that land.
But knowing that that's not their homeland, like thing I sent, they were the leader in Egypt at one time. Remember, he was raising a war against Israel, right? Because he was saying nobody can trust y'all because y'all left so-called black and came back white. Because we know that's those phonies over there. But going to the case in point, how this world gonna be how this world here gonna be destroyed because the world's in the hands of the wicked. So therefore, over there we're gonna destroy that place. That place gonna be destroyed, and there's gonna be a new kingdom brought up, a kingdom in righteousness. Right? That's the new beginning. Why I said Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning that follows. Because right now Esau is in that rulership of this world.
I got a couple questions on that.
Okay.
Just going into specifically the land and how that is ours. I read a couple precepts and make a couple points.
Want me to take the picture?
Nah, we just make this is I read this. This is Ezekiel 36:5. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. And Idumea just goes into Edom, right? Esau, Edom, right?
Read what it says. I'm saying, read what it says.
It says, which have appointed my land to their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for prey. So what did they do? They took our land. They took the land that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gave unto his chosen children, right? And appointed it unto themselves, right? With all the joy in their heart. Because they're now prideful over their land, saying this is theirs. When they know their history, they know they moved into those lands. They know they didn't originate from these places, right?
I have the precept, right? This Psalms 49 and 11. It said that inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They're called their lands after their own names, right? That's what they do. They get named all these lands after them and try to make it seem like is that their origin, that's their origin land, that's where they from. But it's not, man. It's not. As the brother breaking out, you see like they first of all, they was placed over there. Even if you go back to with Ephraim, right? Matthew, I want to say 10, verse 5 and 6. When you went to like Samaria, like you gotta know how those people. I want to say it's Hosea the king. He brought those Assyrians over there, and Ephraim migrated from there. But you have to understand that the history and things, how things line up, how our people was moved and scattered around these places. That's how we end up even here, right? Also through judgment as well, going off, right? But that's why Most High gonna destroy this place, right? He said, I will put you back in your land, right? And that's that world. That's that world that we gonna have when we put back into our place, the land that we were promised.
Jeremiah 16:14. This is just expounding on that point a little bit more. We don't have to get too deep into it. This is a whole other lesson, really. But I read this Jeremiah 23 and 5. Right, just further proving the point that those small headers, they're not people of that land. They're not the those who dwell or are supposed to dwell in that land. So again, Jeremiah 23 and 5, it says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. The king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, Judah shall be saved, Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord of our righteousness. Right. So, and again, Israel isn't dwelling safe. That's why they're going to war with the Palestinians and so on and so forth. It's not peaceful in that land. Why? Because the true people of that land are not there. You can read that. Just 14.
This book of Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 14, and it reads, therefore, behold, the day is come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Man. So the Most High Yahweh Shai is going to take us back to that land. Like I said, there's people out of the north. Where we at? What place are we at right now? Just North America, right? And it says, and the places where we have been driven, because we're scattered throughout all four corners of the earth, right? But the main place that we are at is right here in North America, specifically Babylon. It's the quote-unquote United States of America.
But real quick, that's why it makes so much sense that the Lord has to come back in this this big old chariot, man, to take us up, because Esau's not gonna transport everybody back to you know what I'm saying? So Yahweh Shai has to come back and rescue us, man.
You know, but Jake, it was like a couple years, like, you know, when all that shit was going on with the police brutality, you know what I'm saying? It was all broadcast on the media. People were saying we're gonna all jump on ships and go back to Africa and all this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really dumb because really when you get back to Africa, they're gonna shun you because you're not one of them. You know what I'm saying? You want to be African so bad. I was just listening to Learn Not to Stop about on the way up here, and you know, people don't realize we're more closely related to Esau than we are to Hamites. You know what I'm saying? That's our evil twin brother. You know what I'm saying?
And if you want to get deep with it, you know, people say, you know, it's not really a bloodline thing because Esau, he part of that bloodline. You know what I'm saying?
But it's accounted, like you said, the promise accounted for the seed, right? It was promised to a certain seed. Like the description that say, and Isaac shall thy seed be called. And who was that pertaining to? Jacob, not Esau.
And that's what the main people don't really be getting. I'm trying to break out Ruth back up with what you talking about from the north, right? It's Ruth 5:5. It said, "Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold, thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoice to remember." Right. So, well, we in the position. We in this position where we face, right? On the other side, we're gonna face the east. That's why we pray to the east as well. But you know, west is the Americas, right? And then let me see, I got right here my notes. We got North Central, South Central, Canada, United States, and Central South America. We on that North America, right? You know, that west is the American, and therefore we're gonna be delivered from here and being brought back to our holy land.
Again, this is the well, not this land. This land is a cursed land. You know what I'm saying? We don't. There's nothing good over here in America. You know, the Holy Land was supposed to be. That's supposed to be where we were supposed to thrive there. You know what I'm saying? We weren't supposed to have to stress about what I'm saying, the food or the animals or the weather or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These things were supposed to be that way. But like it goes into I think it's chapter 7, right? When the entrance was supposed to be wide and sure, right? It means what? Wide and sure. It was a definite thing. Like we were gonna be good. We were supposed to be great. No worries, no troubles. You know what I'm saying? But you know, through transgressions and so on and so forth, now the entrance is made narrow. So ultimately, that's why we're out here again, man. We gotta put our people on that narrow path. Well, I can't say we gotta put out people. We're supposed to tell people about it. You know what I'm saying? It's up to y'all about some y'all shot. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to get that increase.
I got a quick precept back up on that this land ain't, you know. But it's the book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, and it reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction," man. So really self-explanatory. You know, we always bring out this precept, but this is not our rest, man. This is not our homeland. You know, hey, the only reason we exist through our transgressions, through our sins, you know, for a curse. You know, the Lord cursed us, man. He made us over here to serve our enemies. And I wanted to touch up on this earlier, man, when you were like, we're going to go up on the ships, you know, go back to Africa. You know, but what it says in Deuteronomy 28:68, it said, at the end, it said, no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall save you. You can't even save ourselves out of this captivity. We can't even save ourselves through the money, through the glory, through the materialistic things. Man, we can't even save ourselves, man. The only way we're going to be saved out of this land is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So if you dwell in this land, you partaking in Esau kingdom and things of that said, hey, you going to be destroyed right along with Esau kingdom, man.
Bring it out again. You got to appreciate the back.
Micah 2:10?
Yeah.
Kind. Micah 2:10 from the top, he said, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction."
This is Numbers 35 and 33, and it reads, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." Meaning, you know, this land ultimately can't be cleansed until Esau be wiped out, you know. And I was thinking about it. It's like, that's why, you know, again, that's why Babylon, aka America, all right, North America, and the land of Israel, all right, today it has to be destroyed because it's defiled, man. And it's like, it's almost like it's like cancer or something. You know how like when somebody's sick, they gotta go in and treat the cancer. Like they'll treat that specific spot. You know, that they ain't gonna treat the whole body or whatever. They'll treat that specific spot. So that's basically what the Most High gotta come back and do. He gotta treat the land. It gotta be treated, but how? By fire. All right. I think it say that in Matthew. You know, basically gonna be like a baptism. All right. The land gotta be purged. 2/3 gotta be purged. Right.
Okay, we're going back to Revelation 21 and verse 1, like you're saying, I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea, meaning, the word sea meaning, you know, talking about, you know, Babylon, there'd be no more, you know, lake of fire, things and such, right?
I was just gonna say, you know, the Lord is not the man that he shall lie, right? He made a promise to who? To Noah, and said, "What? I'm not gonna flood this land no more." So what shall he do? What's the opposite? He's gonna burn it. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna flood it because he made a promise, right? He's gonna burn these places. You know what I'm saying?
That's what that's what the rainbow about, right?
Oh yeah, the rainbow's supposed to see, and that's how sick and twisted Babylon is. The rainbow is supposed to represent the promise that Yahweh Basham Yahushua gave unto you know, his people, which specifically in that case was Noah. That's what the rainbow was signify. And now it signifies, you know, these bigs, these transformers, these you know, these type of people.
Down leprechaun on the other side of
You know what I'm saying? Full of gold. They turn it into these paganistic things, man. But it was supposed to be the proof of a promise. If I'm not mistaken, the original, I might be mistaken. If I'm not, the original rainbow has 7 colors because, you know, 7 represents completion. I think they took a color out and now it's on 6. You know what I'm saying? But that's if I'm not mistaken.
Of course, Esau did.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course he did.
I'm gonna double check that.
But I was over here looking for this precept of 2 Kings, right? Because even going into it, we know that it was just on my spirit. I was looking for it, but even in case of point of like just how this place got to be destroyed, because when you understand Book of Sirach 10 and 8, riches got by deceit. You understanding that we had Israel over here first, right? And I had quoted earlier Matthew 10, 5 and 6, going into, you know, from the northern kingdom, because you know the southern kingdom, northern kingdom split. So then you had those Assyrians who came in, because Samaria was the capital of the northern kingdom. When they came in, right, brought all those people over there, those Syrians, Cushites, plenty of people. You had northern kingdom dispersed, right, and went over. And you know you had Gad come over here, right. Then you had Gad come over here, right. Then you got we was talking about this at the camp. Talking about the other day, you know, the enterprise that Esau was building, Job 5 and 12. They needed a place to establish. So then that's why Chris Columbus came over here. Right? He came over here, he knew his agenda was to come over here. That's why he came over here with the mindset, he was tricking the people and all that. That's the thing, you know, they go into captivity, take this land, things of that nature. That's a case in point. This is showing why this land is going to be destroyed, and this world right here is going to be done away with. Because all this world is full of is lies and deceit and full of straight iniquity, right? It's all lies. Man. Everything that's going on around right now just shows in the point of how Esau created a narrative to try to make themselves look like chosen people or righteous people. Even going back how we was talking about with the land of Israel. Going back over there, when you understand all the things, understand that, you know, they're phonies over there. That's not their homeland. We're the original people from Israel. But that's kind of what I'm going to get into. Like the title at hand, he says that when we talk about basically how, you know, this world gonna be destroyed, right? And our kingdom gonna be, but this world gonna be destroyed and our kingdom gonna be brought back up. And once again, we're gonna be put back into our righteous homeland. But this been happening with Israel, because it goes off to us with us going off things of that nature and us being unto punishment, right? And Most High punishing us. Therefore, we've been kicked off our homeland most of the time, even with Lamentations. When you read about how we lost Jerusalem, things of that nature being spoiled. But the Most High put them in charge for the thing to happen. But that's why that nation comes into place. Esau gonna get that judgment, and their kingdom, their rulership gonna be over with. And nobody's coming in rulership after we come to rulership. After we come to rulership, it's over with. Like it says, the kingdom shall be built up and never be destroyed. But,
You got appreciate it.
Go ahead, what's your thing right now?
But it was really going off the point. It was talking about how, you know, our people also came over here to North America. I was just going to prove it. point. You got a point blank there.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you can read that.
Can somebody get 2 Esdras 13? But this is
This right here leads to, I guess, basically, 40. It leads to
10
that.
tribes.
Yeah.
So if you want to,
No, go ahead.
it's, so yeah, Jeremiah 16 and 13. It read, of course, we just went into Jeremiah 16, but verse 13 it says, therefore I will cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. And so again, because of our iniquities, because of the things that we did, the Most High drove us into these lands. Right? And this is just further proving that we were the original people over here also, because like I said, you nor your fathers have known. You know what I'm saying? The people that were over there in the east, you know what I'm saying? They knew those lands. They had traveled over through. This over here in the west, this was a land that nobody knew, that nobody had been to. But
Let me read this for you. Go to second. So this is 2 Kings 17, right? And I'll start at verse 6. It says, in the ninth year of Hosea the king of Assyria took Samaria. Once again, Samaria was the capital of the northern kingdom, and carried away Israel into Assyria and placed them in Halah in the harbor by the river of Gazan in the cities of the Medes. For it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord Yahweh, their power. And that's the main thing people don't be. That's the main thing people be missing, man. Like we're and it hit me in the spirit earlier. I know my brothers was mentioning a little bit. I kind of forgot what they were saying, but the main thing people don't. Oh yeah, we was talking about how this older world was a wide entrance, but now it's narrow, basically, right? That's why people gotta understand that suffering is part of you. You have to endure that. That's the part of us being over here in the land of our captives, right? Because when you had it all, you did the wrong things with it. So now, in order for you to get the good things, you got to go through the hardship. But it says, they sinned against the Lord Yahweh their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had fear of the gods, and walked in the statues of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord Yahweh their power, and they built them high places in all their city, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. It said, and set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, and did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. When they served idols, whereof the Lord said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Right? It says, see if I want to jump down, I want to get straight to the point. Why we could read down, right? It says, yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments, and according to all the law which I command your fathers, which I sent you by the servants, sent to you by my servants the prophets. Right? And the point being me reading that, right? Going back to Matthew 10, right? When you have this series, you have all these other people coming amongst our nation, our people, right? Even the northern kingdom, right? And the brother gonna read, you're gonna see that they say, hey, we're gonna leave these heathen, and we're gonna go to another land, we're gonna keep the commandments, but our people never did. They still went off and did void things, so therefore, that's how we end up here today. We think about it. Think about even how when you learn the history, even though they lie, right? But you see how the natives was living, totem poles, doing all these wicked things, right? Then you get it when you understand things, right? All the tribes have been through that captivity, they've been through that punishment, right? You got the Trail of Tears, right? You got the Oregon Trail, right? You got with the 49 Gold Rush when Esau coming over here. Gad had it bad just as well, but it all goes to the case in point of us being disrespectful and not abiding to the laws and commandments that the Most High set. So therefore, we all going through that punishment, right? But
this is 2 Esdras 13 and verse 40. Right, it says those are the 10 tribes, right? Those 10 tribes are who? You know what I'm saying? The ones, the Jews are what? Judah, Levi, Benjamin. The rest of them, they did what? It says, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, right, the king, which the brother was just going into. It says, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters and so came they into another land. They took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep the statute over. It says over the waters. You know what I'm saying? These things are
Atlantic.
you know, these things are written. You understand? Like the Paul that said it, man. These things are written 4 times for our learning, man. So it's just ways that the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem is breakproof. It's shatterproof. You know, it's unbreakable.
Yeah, not to get too far on this point, but that goes to show you, you know, that like elders be saying, like, you know, like you say, Book of Sirach 39:24, you know, it's plain to the holy, stumble back to the wicked. When the case point being, you gotta understand that's why the elders be telling you when you come into the truth, and the scriptures tell you, you like it to obey, because everything you learned before you came into the truth, no matter, you could be of old age, right? But what Yahweh shall tell him, a man got to be born again of the Spirit, and you can even ask him, how can a man be born again when he's of old age? So you got to be born again of the Spirit, man. When that Spirit comes upon you, and that's when you get to learn the true things, the true knowledge, and even the true history, man. Know the true history of these things, because Esau created the history to make them look like good people, look like righteous people. But understand, they doing all that to hide their history, hide who they are. But all that's being exposed now, because now we got the Spirit of Yahweh outside discern these things. Like, oh yeah, right. Y'all did tell us, but y'all didn't tell us the full thing. Gad was over here. Y'all did come over here, doing all these things to him, threw him in slavery, threw him into captivity, things of that nature. Even with us coming over here on ships again, like. When you know, the Spirit helps you understand these things, but like I said, it's plain to the holy, it's goes back to the wicked. Some of these scriptures, you really got to go into the history of it and understand what's really going on. Because Esau, they try to create their own history to make themselves look good.
And even on that note, I was listening to the other apostles to heart, right? And it was a brother on his comment board that was saying like he's new to the faith, right? And what did he say?
Talking about the hell doctor.
Yeah, he said I just learned that there's no hell. He said, but I believe all your videos. And the other apostle Hart said that's not good. He said you should ask me to prove it, right? Because you can't just hear something and assume that must be right. You gotta know these things for yourself to have that strong foundation. Because if you hear these things, you just believe to be true with no proof. It's easy for a man that's a scholar and wicked things to try to trip you up, because now they sound like they know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying?
You're not rooted.
Exactly. That's why the scriptures say prove all things. You know what I'm saying? These things must be proven. That was just something.
For edification purposes, right? YouTube page now, I did a lesson on this like a month ago. It's titled "A Little History of the Northern Kingdom of Israel." The same thing we were just going into. I did a lesson on that a few months ago, like just for edification purposes, going there deeper into it.
But because you were talking about, what did you say? You basically talking about, you got to come into this thing like as a baby. Right? This is Matthew 18. Just going into that point, counting that Yahweh Shah said such thing, right? I started at 1 and read 3. It says, at the same time came the disciples unto Yahweh Shah, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahweh Shah called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven, man. You have to become as a child. You have to become someone who is able to be taught, someone who learns. You can't come into this truth prideful thinking, oh, I already know this, I know that, because 9 times out of 10, really 10 times out of 10, you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You misunderstood. Like you may have heard some things, but you go off in some ways. You go into your own understanding of some things. Because I've talked with people before, I'll try to break things down to them. I'll call it scripture. And they'll be like, oh, I read that before. I know what that's, but you don't know what it means. You know what I'm saying? Because you weren't taught correctly.
But even us sometimes, that's why, I forget who said it, but they said after you will learn, you got to go back and learn again. All right? Because we just scratching the surface. We just get it for that, but it's really double-fold, 10-fold, or,
That's why I said study, so that's how to prove. Because studying consists of what? Reading the same things over and over. You got to beat this into your brain so that way you understand it. Right? You can't just read one scripture, get one breakdown one time, and think, I don't got to hear that. I don't need it. No, you gotta study these things. You gotta become a learned man.
We were talking about this the other day. We were talking about the video of the when I was talking about the 12 Caesars, right? We were talking about, and I said, like, you know, take them notes on it, man. When the elders talk thing, they should take notes. So as you, when you go back to read on your own, right? You go back and read on your own, then you start, this thing start to make sense. It's like studying for a test. It's like when you study for a test, you have the study guide, therefore, so you can have the answers, but you go and do it. So therefore, you when you read this question, oh yeah, bet, I know this, right? So when we read each scripture, right? When the Spirit comes upon us, allows us to understand it. But when the Most High put the Spirit on the prophet speaking to us, and we eat the whole roll, we able to eat it up. And now we get to the point. So now we able to teach it now. So we done study and we done showed ourselves proof to understand it. You know, and that's why you got to be humble enough to be able to do that. You got to be humble enough to be able to sit down and read and study and do these things. And that's what goes into, you know, not putting things before the most. That's why you don't. That's why you don't be caught up in the ways of this world. But those things that have you won't have time to get in that study and do these things, because you're not just like the brother said. You're not just gonna hit this one time and be able to just, you know. Of course, the Spirit dealing with you, but you gotta get in this book and study, man. You gotta really study day. They said study day in, day out. You know, you gotta really be in this book. You gotta really be and to learn those things. You gotta really be what's the word for it? You gotta really be
diligent.
You feel me? You gotta want this. Like, you gotta want this. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be in that book.
But you know that's one thing, but that's not enough. You know, because it's like you can be well studied. You know, look at Sakari, look at IUIC, Watchman for Israel. Those brothers smart, man. But what's gonna happen is, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the spirit gonna leave them. You know, brother smart, but it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the spirit not dealing with you.
I think I try to find that precept real fast. Elder Pastor Rumla, he kind of just going into how, you know, Yahushua got that supply, and each and every day he supplies with the spirit enough to each and every day we learn knowledge, we gain knowledge, we able to understand it, right? You know, even with the temptation of things we face, he supplies with enough spirit to us to be able to overcome these things. Once again, that's why Revelation 12:11 said, right? We overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, right? That's Yahushua.
I'll get straight to the point. Matthew 18 and verse 3, it says, "And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven."
Quick piece of Romans 12:2. And it reads, say, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Heavenly Father," man. Because, you know, you can't physically be reborn again after you done, you know, being born to the earth. You know, you know that we can't go into it, but it's talking about the renewing of your mind, right? The knowledge, understanding, the wisdom. You have to forget all that shit that you had learned once you're growing up. Amen. And you have to become as a baby, you know, that newborn and that baby, what they doing? They watching everything that you do as a parent. You know, they watching that surroundings, they hearing everything, and that's what they go learn. That's what they go grow up, you know, I guess, abiding by. You know what I'm saying? So
train up a child in a way.
That's what I said. But also, that's why I said, you know, the precept in Hebrews where it talked about, you know, you're not ready for strong foods yet. You got to desire that sincere milk. Like a baby, you take milk until he able to. You can't just feed a baby hard food. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. They'll choke. You don't want to. You don't be trying to rush. You're gonna choke. You're gonna mess yourself up, man. You know.
For example, you know, a lot of Christians think that, you know, the books of Paul are the best books to begin their faith with, which is completely wrong, because even Peter told you, you know what I'm saying, Paul he wrote things hard to be understood to those who are unlearned. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what the majority of people are. That's what everybody is, unlearned. You know what I'm saying? All these people are very unlearned, but you want to jump to Paul and read Romans and think, I understand this. I know the mystery of the Gentile. When you don't, you know what I'm saying? Because even Paul said these things are a mystery, right? How can somebody who is unlearned discover all these mysteries? That don't make sense. It's like you not knowing anything about science, but you read one book about, you know, aerodynamics, and now that's not how that works. You got to get the basics, the sincere milk of the scripture.
I got this quick precept. Right, John 1 is precept I was talking about the supply of the Spirit. John 1, it's the book of St. John chapter 1, starting verse 15. It says, "John bare witness of him and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me." And I think it's in his book. where you know the people was coming up to John thinking that he was that one, but John kept telling them, right, yo, it's one that's coming. He greater than me, he was before me. It's talking about Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, in the fullness have we all received a grace for grace. Because you know Yahweh Shai got the fullness. Yahweh gave Yahweh Shai everything in righteousness, man. You know, so now we every day that we praying that the Spirit of Yahweh Shai supply us every day with the fullness of the truth. So each day we being filled up each day with the Spirit to be able to learn, to be able to overcome these things, and be able to, you know, abide in this truth, abide in this Spirit, right? And let me see, verse 17 says, "For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahweh Shai." It's just like, you know, at one time we were talking about how, you know, in Luke 2, when he was with his parents, he was with his parents, and when they went to the Passover, he stayed in the temple, he was teaching, right? And at that time, he was like 12, 13 years old. He was young, you know, because Yahweh gave him everything right. He knew he came down here for. He came down with the fullness of the truth to give light to the Gentiles. Therefore, in case of one, like you gotta receive the Spirit. Once the Spirit come on you, then you gotta let the Spirit lead you. That's why even when he talk about born again Spirit in John 3, he said like where the wind blows, you know where it come from, where it goes, out of the Spirit. So when the Spirit come upon you, gotta let the Spirit lead you. You know, 1 Peter 5, right? He said, humble yourselves under the elder, right? Because in due time you will be exalted. In due time, when that time comes, you'll be putting your place for what you set to do in the truth. But you can't try to rush things and try to jump ahead with things, because once again, you try to eat strong foods as a baby, you're gonna end up choking, man. So you gotta desire that sense of will.
I always like that because I'm saying, I was shy. I don't know. It makes me smile because I'm gonna read it. Talking about Passover. Luke 2:49. It says, and he said to them, "How is it that ye sought me? Wished ye not that I must be about my Father's business?" Man, he knew what he came for. Man, he had a purpose. You gotta think. He was a boy at this point. You know what I'm saying? He was. You know what I'm saying? He was still young. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he knew what he was here for. I just wanted to I like that verse.
You see, that's the thing about the Spirit, man. Like when the Spirit leads you, the Spirit ain't trying to do. I ain't gonna say it ain't trying to do everything. The Spirit, he got a mission, he got an agenda, right? But like brothers brought out, am I not about my Father's business? Meaning, of course we have stuff we gotta take care of in the world. Of course we gotta keep the Sabbath to the best of our ability. But it's certain things that the Spirit is only focused on. Like I said in the group chat, like every brother got just enough. Everybody got exactly what they need. Meaning the Spirit, like you said, give you a supply, give you a portion. Meaning, of course we're not gonna do everything right. Of course we're not gonna be able to, you know, prove this or prove that or show this or show that or be on time. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let the Spirit work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta allow what the Spirit allows, right?
That's why the preacher said Moses brought the law, but Yahushua brought the truth and grace, because we understand that's why, you know, we ain't judged by law. We not gonna be perfect, but therefore, you know, we make no tarrying with this truth. Therefore, when the Spirit on us to get into this thing, how the Spirit on us to get up here, get out here, and we're gonna get out, because the Spirit got that, you know, that agenda where it's trying to get done, you know. You know what I'm saying? We could be out here for next 30, 45 minutes. Jake might walk through here. Spirit might be on him to wake up. You know, when the Spirit leads you, just let it lead you, man. But
Man, going all the world, man.
facts, man, it's gonna look how you understand the own way. And it also goes into, you know, when it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and understanding. Because you gotta understand, once you fear the Lord, you'll be able to really get into this thing. You'll be able to understand not only deliverance, because that's what Christians only teach. And I did left on this yesterday talking about this, like how the Christians only teach about deliverance. They go and find precepts in the Bible that sound good and make things. Oh yeah, God will do this for you. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get that. But when you really understand the fear of the Lord, you're gonna understand the deliverance. You're gonna understand the judgment. You're gonna understand all these things. You're gonna understand that He's long suffering. You're gonna understand His true power, right? And that's when you're gonna be. That's when you're gonna really humble yourself down and understand that nothing comes before this, because Most High controller all this. He can wrap all this up right here, right now. You know.
You tell a Christian, you know what I'm saying, the Most High said He the one that created evil. You know what I'm saying? They look at you like you crazy. Like, what you mean? That's Satan. But you don't understand that Satan is just an employee of Yahweh, right? He does the Lord's bidding. You know what I'm saying? He's controlled. You know what I'm saying? He's not just some rogue some rogue angel that people think him to be. He just doesn't do, you know what I'm saying, whatever he wants against the Lord's will. You know what I'm saying? But again, you don't get to the scriptures, you're not taught. You don't understand these things. That's just an example.
And that's why, that's why the Most High, I read this precept, Isaiah 45 and 15, it says, "Verily thou art a power that hidest thyself, O power of Israel the Savior." Right? He hid himself, he hid his name, things of that nature. But you understand that the elect who had the spirit, how about Shah, you understand his holy name. Right? We will understand the book of the saying, we understand the dark saying. But so it goes to the point, Most High gonna destroy this place. Because nobody has the fear. Everybody fearing Esau, they fearing all these other things. They have all these other dinners they have set before the Most High. That's why he's gonna come with that destruction. Why he gonna come with that destruction, and why he said every eye gonna see. Because at that point, everybody gonna know what it is at that point. Like, oh, why? And what's that name y'all was calling on? But y'all was right. Well, like, you know, and it's gonna fuck them up when they don't see that blonde haired dude flying through the sky come save them all. It's gonna fuck them up. They gonna understand what's going on at that point. That's why that, you know, we gonna reveal himself by that destruction. It goes into the title of the hand, and that's why this kingdom, this right here is not going. This the end of the the wicked. Let's put it like this. This the end of the wicked right here. We're finna get this next kingdom coming is the kingdom of righteous. That's why Yahweh shot finna bring that righteous, because you got a lot of iniquity and sin going on every day. You know, ever since Esau came into rulership, the earth has been languishing, dying, weakening. So therefore, Most High got to get rid of them. We got to get them out of the way.
And you know the same way, again, he that somebody grabbed the earthquake, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. And also somebody can grab that he leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. Because you got to understand, you know, going back to the title of that hand, this is not the end all be all. So being that, you know, the same way we came over here, you got to say it was a lot of bloodshed, man. Even from the time we got on those ships, we died on the ships, we died in the ocean, in slavery. So it's going from here henceforth until the kingdom of heaven, until everything's fully established, it's gonna be a lot of bloodshed. Jake, brothers gotta get ready to get their hands dirty, man. You know, of course, with spiritual powers, not on no carnal level, but you got, meaning you gotta be a man. Meaning you gotta be ready to jack Esau ass up. You know, cut him up, cut his children up, for real, cut his woman up. Like, you really gotta show yourself a man.
They say Stone gonna dash their little ones. They did it our little ones, so we gonna do it today. But hey, before I read, I'm gonna read this precept, because that's why the Most High have is a remnant, because those are the ones that's built for it. That's why he said real fast, 8:1, he said, he answered me saying, the Most High made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Because that world to come, that's why when you understand, it all makes sense. The Most High not out there confusing, but it's just a stumbling block to the people who don't have the spirit, because the Most High not dealing with them. But that's why people gonna come in through the elect seed. They gonna come in with that, you know how they tell you, like, hey, well, like, just for instance, Deion Sanders and his kid, they football players because their father's a football player. So these elect, in time being, you know, right now we strive for righteousness, we strive for that perfection. But in time, when we get to the kingdom, we know we're in our spiritual body, and rich in our hearts and mind, we're gonna be perfect. Therefore, these wicked got to come back through a perfect seed. Just how his father played basketball, LeBron James kid, your dad played basketball. You know you can hoop, you know you can do that thing. It's understandable, man.
But you're right. And before that, they gotta get their ass whooped.
They got the con.
You
gotta get that judgment. You gotta get that judgment, because that's why the world is made for. This world is made for many, because many love the wide gate. Everybody out here want to do whatever they want to do. They ain't got no discipline. They ain't got no order. They confused and hypocritical, right? That's why the Most High said, you know, that hypocritical nation. He's talking about Jake, man. Jake is hypocritical as hell. Jake want all the good things, want all these good things, but Jake disrespectful, don't do nothing that the Most High tell him. But you got the sincere man in this truth telling you. That's why, once again, in Proverbs just talk about it. If you understand the fear of the Lord, you're gonna understand that it's judgment just as well as deliverance as well. See, people only want that deliverance, not understanding this judgment gonna come, man. And you gonna get delivered, but like the brother said, you gonna get that ass whooped, man. I read that Revelation.
I'm ready.
Oh, 13.
Now I'm gonna say, what you
I was gonna bring out the precept. He wasn't bring out the con.
Right.
Other Revelation 13, I started verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, right? Because you understand it, right? Hey, Esau done put us into captivity, and they blessed, their birthright was the sword. But Matthew 10:34, Yahweh shall say, I come with the sword, man, right? And once again, It's playing into the holy what? Did Isaac give Esau that sword? Isaac Yahushua, same spirit. So what Yahushua finna do? Come back and get it straight to him, man. You know, but it be so hard for them to understand. Like I said, Isaiah, man, it was like they reading a book, like a sealed book. They can't learn, they can't read it, because the Most High got them blinded right now. He got their eyes closed, you know.
They say that.
He got their eyes closed. They ain't able to get this understanding. They ain't able to understand, like the brother saying, what people think this world gonna end. They don't understand that this kingdom ending for sure. This kingdom over with. But like the brother brought out in Ecclesiastes, hey, the earth gonna bother forever. So who the rulership next? That's us. It's our turn, man.
And you know, not to keep going on about it, but that's peace right there. That's peace, understanding that this is not the end all be all. Like, of course, I know when we were young, we probably all had the same thought. Damn, the world gonna end. Damn, that's it.
I remember that shit back in like 2012.
I just been say 2012.
Oh yeah.
I've been scared as hell.
I was like,
I'm looking out on social media.
I was a mama's boy. I used to be proud. Like, nigga, kill my mama.
Wow.
yeah, we are gonna die. What the fuck?
Word. Jake, hey. Jake love life.
That shit had me spooked.
I was hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was hurt. I like my little sister every day, everything. I'm
They
hurt.
done made a movie and now I'm watching
Man,
the movie. I'm
what?
scared as hell.
I'm like, ah, shit.
I'm telling you, man.
But that's that illusion that Esau done sold us. Esau got us thinking that the world gonna end and everything gonna go blank. Everybody, you feel me? Like,
Not to cut off a quick point. That's why when you brought out Micah 2 and 10, we were talking about this at the count Friday. Talking one. That's why the people looking for a rest, and that illusion that Esau put out. That's how these people run to these churches. They run to this. They run to that. Because the people trying to find the
rapture.
You know what I'm saying?
Get out of here.
They trying to find that. They trying to find that easy way out, but not understanding they lead right to destruction. That's why I said what it say. Depart, for this is not your rest. This is not your peace. This is not for you. This is nothing right here. It's gonna lead you to a sore destruction, man. Right? But once again, people don't get it, man. People only want to hear the smooth things. They don't want to hear that. Hey, that's why he said, "Come out of her." That this right here is gonna be destroyed. This world right here, as you know it, is gonna be done and done away with. It's gonna be. Ain't gonna be no more remembrance. Most High said the smoke shall go on forever and ever. Ain't gonna be no more habitation here. Everything over with here. You know, he gotta get rid of this place. It's defiled. This land is polluted.
Quick research. Colossians 2:8 say, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Mashiach, man. So that's what Esau did, man. They spoiled everybody and deceived everybody through these, philosophies, through these false information, et cetera, man. Hey, you gotta go off the scripture, man. You gotta go off your how about Hashem outside. Because if not, that's when you gonna believe, 2020 the world's gonna end. You gonna believe in all these other bullshit that's not nowhere near truth. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, be beware of those men.
And then, like I was just thinking about this earlier. I was on the phone talking with my trainer. You know, me and him be talking a lot, and I was telling him like, Jake in that, y'all know what the Stockholm syndrome is. Jake in that.
You start to love, man. You capture.
And I was telling him like, it's not a no. When I said, I ain't saying like no relational standpoint. I'm saying in the aspect of like, look when they pushed Christianity on Jake. When Jake was at his Lord, we in captivity. So therefore, you feel me? Jake, when he coming, now Jake started loving like, we take Jesus. Oh, Master said we gonna go to heaven. We do this and that. Jake, they got Jake in that Stockholm syndrome moment. Jake down in captivity. Now Jake looking for the rest. Jake looking for a way to get up out of this place. Cause we've been going through hell. This is our hell. We've been going through hell. We've been going through hell for a minute. Hell is a condition. The condition that we in. Slavery, poverty, right? Destruction, the grave. And we've been going through that. We've been going through that for a long time. The people are trying to find easy way about this thing. Then you got these bum out ass preachers get in front of you and read you a few precepts, talk about your problems, and the most I've been talking to you all day. This and that. Now they want to bring out John 3:16, or they want to go read some encouraging precepts in Jeremiah or some encouraging precepts. And they only try to read you the encouraging thing. Once again, it ain't the fear. Because when you understand the fear, you understand like, boy, hold up, why are these encouraging things? Guy ain't good suffering, who's going through pain, we gonna have Jacob trouble coming, right? Why they ain't tell us about all this? Because when they hit, you're gonna be wondering why you're not prepared. That's why they tell you, man, wisdom and knowledge to be stability in that time, them times to come, right? But
we understand that this shit ain't gonna be all peaches and cream, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because you must endure until the end. You say what you gotta endure if everything gonna be all good. Right? If the Lord is not supposed to let anything happen to you, you're not supposed to be chastened, you're not supposed to be punished, you're not supposed to go through nothing. You know what I'm saying? What you got in the church? You know what I'm saying? It's contradictory. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach on these things. They don't elaborate on these things. They want them to go smooth, like you said.
But they don't know shit for real. They don't go to
break
the,
down prophecy.
yeah, I was gonna say they don't go to no type of prophecy. None of that. You go to church on a Sunday morning, they got a word. The word is encouragement. And it talks about encouragement. They sing 2-3 songs and that's the day. And they go back to being wicked as hell.
Like you said, you want to bring out that revelation, or you just
We'll bring it up. It's really off topic, but we'll bring it up.
This is Book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 4. Right? This goes back into you have been pointing and have been directed into this about how, you know what I'm saying, these things, these people are blinded. You know what I'm saying? These things are sealed to certain people who are not, you know, of the elect. You know what I'm saying? You know, people who the Most High chosen. This is so Daniel 12 and 4. It says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And that's what's happening, right? These things have been sealed. King David, you know what I'm saying, said in the book of Psalms, you know what I'm saying, bend down their back always, you know what I'm saying, make their trappings a snare, you know what I'm saying, roughly paraphrasing. I might quote it wrong. But point being, you know what I'm saying, because he knows these are rebellious children, you know what I'm saying, children, and they will not hear the words of the Yahweh Shem Shah. So do what, you know what I'm saying, he's keeping these words from certain people, you know what I'm saying, but, you know, like it said, knowledge shall be increased. Right? So that's what's going on with the prophets that you see now, with the elder apostles. You know, the elder apostle Rakar, the elder apostle Tahar, the elder apostle Gabar, the elder apostle Ramlaw. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth with the elders and the bishops. You know what I'm saying? And those who are up under GMS, either those affiliated. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. That's what you see now. You see that knowledge being increased in these latter days. The Most High has allowed certain men to understand certain things, to gain certain things of him. He sent his spirit to lift that veil over some men's eyes.
Can you read that again?
I ain't know this. When they talk about the wedding, why he said they not worthy. Some of them not worthy of this point. Some of them not worthy of this.
Daniel 12 and 4, it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased."
Like you're saying, knowledge have been increased. So as you know, when you read in the Bible, in the KJV terms, things that says, you see that the prophets of old, they use similar tools, right? Just like I'm finna give you an example. Matthew 24 and verse 29, saying, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven." So what are those stars that fall from heaven? Talk about the missiles, but the prophets are old. What they do? They use similar tools because why they ain't know what the missiles were, so they call it as stars. So they ain't seen nothing like that. But now that the knowledge has been increased, we are the ones we are able to further explain it more to the people in today's term, you know, and really break down the mystery. Like I said, Amos 3:7, you know, you do nothing, you know, rough and paraphrase, you know, you give us mysteries and we'll bring it out real quick.
On that note, just another example of how it talks about the archers. You know what I'm saying? That's how they saw it, because that's something that they could relate to. You know what I'm saying? Bows and arrows, the archers, but these again are missiles. These are bombs. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth.
I know ICBM missiles, but we'll read this real quick. Amos 3:7 says, "Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but He revealeth His secret to His servants, the prophets." So we the ones that, you know, revealing the secrets to the people. Cause wow, they not understanding it. They just see stars and things of that such and dragons, and they're like, "Man, what the hell are they talking about?" You know, but the Lord gave us the knowledge, understanding, the wisdom to furthermore, you know, explain that. But I'm gonna just finish off Matthew 24.
I got a quick. So